And the problem is not that it's just not for you. You just didn't try. Because if you can shift your focus to just getting better and all you do is obsess about getting better, wouldn't it be reasonable to assume that if your sole focus was getting better and you did that on a long enough time horizon, that you would eventually be so good that you get your first deal? Welcome to the Ryan Rice Show, where we talk about what we learned yesterday that we can apply today so that we can be better tomorrow. I hope you enjoy and subscribe. One thing I've learned after about 4 years in business is that if you focus on making money, you may make it, but if you focus on getting better, making money is a result of you getting better, and it naturally happens. And I found more utility in focusing on getting better. Who am I? My name is Ryan Rice. I am a full-time real estate investor, and I make these to help you make more money in your real estate business. But this is a phrase I say to myself all the time, by the way. So everything I'm sharing here with you all, they're just things I found that have worked for me. And so use them if helpful. If not, toss them. I don't really care. But for me, what this phrase comes down to is utility. Because if I focus on making money, I have some resemblance of what to do. I need to market, I need to sell, I need to deliver on the product, right? And I think actually a lot of people focus on this and accomplish it. They do pretty well. But what I found by focusing instead on getting better is it's an actual input that I can control. And I know that if I become a better business owner, a better leader, and as a result, we learn how to serve our clients better, that's probably going to make me more money in the long run. But my brain naturally goes to make more money before it goes to just be better. And so I'm constantly reminding myself, just be better. And so for you, if you're starting something or you're in the early stages and you put 100% of your focus on getting better versus making money, it can actually change the actions that you take. And let me give you an example. Let's say you want to start flipping houses and you've worked on your skill of influence so that you can raise money, so that you can speak to realtors and contractors. You've worked on underwriting deals. You're just focused on making a shit ton of money because you think you're smart, you have skills. And if you had a goal to, let's say, make $1 million in a year, you knew that if you can make $50,000 per flip and you bought 20 of them, well, you'd make $1 million. And so you go buy 20 houses. But the problem is because you just got started, you haven't figured out the nuances of contractor relationships. You haven't figured out how to identify a good or a bad one. You don't understand construction like you should because you're just getting into it. You haven't made mistakes yet when you list a house. And so you're going to have to learn those mistakes as you're in the thick of it. You haven't quite figured out what a good real estate agent is. And by the time you do figure it out, you're already 10 real estate deals in, but you bought 20 houses. So you're in the middle of it. Right. And so you buy those 20 houses, but you're learning so much that you actually make nothing or maybe even lose money. And trust me, I can speak firsthand why that is not a good idea. How to do that instead is you buy one house, you get to the finish line, you document your learnings, and then you buy number 2, maybe number 3. You finish those, you document your learnings, then you can buy number 4, 5, 6, maybe. Then you finish those and you repeat. And if you're saying to yourself as I'm going through this example, well, that's going to take a long time. Well, yeah, no shit. Welcome to what being an entrepreneur is like. And I think what's interesting about business right now is I don't think it's actually that hard to set yourself apart from the competition because nobody wants to fucking work or do anything right now. Because of social media, everybody's looking for a magic bullet that is going to make up an overnight success instead of putting in tens of thousands of hours in your craft to actually get good. Tens of thousands is a lot, maybe 10,000. And it seems like all millennials and Gen Z care about these days is they care about their friends, seeing that they travel to New York City on their Instagram or posting pictures partying at a rave because it makes them feel cool, instead of just focusing on getting better. And meanwhile, they're broke as shit because they're spending money that they don't have on trips they probably would be better off not taking, but they justify those trips because you only live once. Or why make any money if you don't spend it, but their bank account has less than $1,000 in it and they're in credit card debt and they still live with mom and dad? Another example is, let's say you're trying to get your first real estate deal. And the reason why so many people quit when they start real estate is because they're judging themselves based on whether or not they got their first deal by the time Johnny did when he first got started, or by the time their other few friends did when they first got started. And because this person is focused on whether or not she's achieving the outcome and she puts in some work and hasn't gotten it yet, she quits because she thinks something is wrong with her or that maybe it's just not for me. And the problem is not that it's just not for you. You just didn't try. Because if you can shift your focus to just getting better and all you do is obsess about getting better, wouldn't it be reasonable to assume that if your sole focus was getting better and you did that on a long enough time horizon, that you would eventually be so good that you get your first deal? And then because you focused on getting better after you do your first deal, it's so much easier to get your second, your third, and your fourth. But nobody thinks like that. Everybody just compares himself to Instagram model Karen, who's a perfect 10 and flips 75 houses in her first year in real estate. And this thought process, it can literally be applied to anything. You want to lose weight? Step on the scale every day so you can track what your weight is, but don't focus on whether or not you're losing weight. Ask yourself how you can get healthier today. How can I get better today in terms of my nutrition? Maybe then when you go to put the fucking cookie in your mouth, you'll have the will not to, because it's not about your weight. It's just about you getting better. Want bigger muscles? Stop focusing on getting bigger. Ask yourself, how can I get bigger? Well, you know what? The way you get better is you track the amount of weight that you did for how many reps last week, and you do the same weight for 2 more reps this week. And you do that on repeat for years, right? Wow, my muscles are bigger now. Imagine that. And I'll give you an example that I had recently about just being a better father, right? Is your kid getting some screen time while you're eating so that you can eat in peace? And then while you're watching your screen, you might as well scroll on your phone to keep yourself occupied, right? Because your kid's watching the TV. There's no engagement. What if you actually put your phone down, watch the show that your kid is watching, ask questions about the characters, comment on the situations that are happening, show emotion with your kid while she's watching the screen, while she's watching the show that she's watching? And it's amazing what that little engagement can do. Guess how I know? Because I did exactly that. And it was great how such a small little piece of effort I put in while my daughter was doing something seemingly meaningless actually got me more involved with her. And so now I know about Taddy and Misifu, the cat. There are so many fucking pussies in today's world. And I'm sorry to be vulgar, but I use strong words intentionally to illustrate how passionate I am about this sort of thing. Nobody wants to work. Nobody wants to do anything. Everyone just wants to count how many fucking likes they have on their Instagram post or see how many people responded to them in Snapchat. And so I'm reminding myself more than I'm reminding you. And this isn't directed from a pedestal to you. This is me talking to myself. Stop trying to make money. Just get better.